Hey, I'm Commander Data here with Treadmill Heroes. So today what we're going to be doing is running through a couple diagnostic steps for you, maybe to save you a little bit of time on your equipment. Flip the power switch on first. So you get on your equipment, you just hit the start button, quick start, get into an exercise. You're walking along, everything's working the way it should, right? And then as you can see here in a couple of seconds, it just shuts off on you and that's it. Let me show you a couple of things on how we diagnose that. First thing that I would check out when I'm working on something like this, it's always the diagnostic LEDs. So as you can see right down here on this lower control board, usually on your residential equipment, there is an LED that shows you that the motor is moving. As you can see here, it does know that the motor is moving, but the console does not. The first thing that I check out would be wiring going to and from, usually around these areas where the uprights go. If your treadmill is a folding style of treadmill, however, it might be down here like this. Right there is usually where they bend and break. So what we're going to do here is remove the console, which I've already removed the 5 screws around it. So as you can see here, they usually have all these wires just kind of crammed back here behind the console, nothing special, no wire cable management of any kind. You never want to pull on the wires when you're pulling these connectors out. You always want to try and pull on the connector if you can, because otherwise what can happen is the wires can come out of the connector and then you've got a lot bigger problems. Now we see here the wires all go down inside of this piece. So we'll remove these 2 screws. That should be all that's holding this shroud in place. Another thing we see here, you notice that when this treadmill was first installed or put together, they had this wire running underneath that plastic shroud. That's not a good sign already right there. It's supposed to be kind of down in a safe area where it's not going to get pinched. Kind of like that there. And then we see right here on this exact wire, you see we have a pin that wasn't even inside of the connector. So we'll put that all back together how it should and test it out. Right, here I am back after bending that pin back and putting it inside the connector where it should be. We actually have quite a bit more slack for all of these wires now that they're routed correctly. It's a very important thing to route wires correctly. It'll prevent things like that from happening in the future and keep everything where it needs to be. We're going to test out the treadmill and confirm that that was our issue. I think that'll do it. Be super duper.
Be super duper.